Appearance on Dion's Daily Dose does not imply endorsement from or by any candidate or guest. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed by Dion Bergeron or Dion's Daily Dose are his own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of any guest. Material and information presented is for general information purposes only. The Dion's Daily Dose name in all forms and abbreviations are the property of its owners, and its use does not imply endorsement of or opposition to any specific organization, product, or service. If you'd like to support the show, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/Dion's Daily Dose.
Hey, everybody. Okay, so first things first, Mr. Ruiz will not be with us tonight. I just actually got off the phone with him. He had an emergency that came up with his child, so family first. Everyone should understand. I'm disappointed, obviously, but good news, he's going to reschedule. There was just something that came up at the last moment with him, with his child, and so that's why I'm a little late. I was like, what's going on? But I called him, and he will be on, just not tonight. It'll be a better experience next time because it'll give me more time to work on the graphic. The graphic, oh my, you know what? I have a newfound appreciation for graphics designers because I spent way too long on trying to trying to take the blank graphic that I was given, make a certain area transparent, put the photo in there, and it was just good. So to recap, for those of you that are just joining us, Mr. Ruiz is not going to be on tonight, but he will be rescheduled. He had a last-minute emergency. I also was told that there is a certain individual that is dropping out of the race. They will not be on either. It's a future interview that I had. I haven't announced it yet, so not a huge deal. Now that that's out of the way, I want to tell you a couple of things. First of all, I don't know if you guys are aware, but I talked about this the other night with the other gentleman that I had. You know the debt clock, right? You guys familiar with it? It's usdebtclock.org, right? $30.3 trillion. It's absolutely mind-blowing. And it's very sickening. I don't even know what to say other than we desperately need to get some people in office that are going to change the course of this country, man. It's so bizarre. It's so frustrating. Anyway. Yeah, so Jack's like, yeah, 5-minute project. Right, for you, it's a 5-minute project. He's talking about the graphics. He is exceptional, by the way, and has been very, very instrumental in the past. I'm trying to learn how to do it myself so that I don't have to constantly bother people and be like, hey, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you fix this? Can you fix that? Now, the good news is I was finally able to figure out how to take it and add transparency on the part that I wanted. I figured that out. The bad news is it took me way too long to figure out how to do that. I use a program called GIMP, and it is just, it's very, very deep. There's a lot of options on it. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. Look it up. There are tons of options on GIMP. And the menu is like overwhelming. There's just so many options, so many things that you can do. Yeah. So here's what we're going to do. Since you guys are here, please don't leave. What questions would you like asked for the people that are coming on? We're going to have more U.S. congressional candidates coming on. We're going to have candidates for sheriff. We're going to have candidates for the state house. Hopefully more. Let's see. Jack says sometimes it's faster to subtract. Erase usually leaves it in a transparent area. I tried erase. It did not leave it transparent for some reason. I don't know if I was using the wrong settings, but Sean says that one of the things he could disagree with Trump about, and I assume he's talking about the national debt. The budget, no one seems to be taking this seriously. At least anyone, we are, right? We're talking about it. But the people that actually make the decisions, the people that are actually paid to legislate, to come up with a budget, to stick to it, none of these people seem to actually care that we are so ridiculously in debt. Let me see it. Let me get this back up here because I want to touch a little bit more on it. So you have up here the U.S. national debt, right? $30.3 trillion. The debt per citizen, that's how, the debt divided by each person in the United States, citizen of the United States. $91,077. So each of you and me, my share of the debt of the United States is $91,000, right? Your children as well, your babies. Debt per taxpayer, though, right? People that actually pay taxes like you and I, $241,611. I don't have anything worth $241,000. I'm not worth $241,000. I would have to sell multiple body parts to be worth $241,611. And it's even worse because as you leave it, you'll see it slowly tick up, right? If we wait long enough, this will go to 241,612. I mean, the number's jumping so fast. 500,000, right? 550,000, 600,000. Anyway, I don't know if you guys can hear. I have one of my cats that's outside the door. I kicked all the cats out because they like to jump up on the chair, and I want to be serious for this interview and have a good job. And he's out there crying, I want in. If there's a particular question now, Sean, this is my my executive editor here, content creator gentleman. He has an excellent list of questions for the candidates. But if you guys can think of other questions that you would like asked, if you watch, do me a favor, go back and watch the show where we had Mr. Martin Lucas on, see the questions that we asked him. Let me know if you can think of more interesting or better questions or whatever. So Sean says, when the Federal Reserve raises interest rates, the debt will go up faster. You're absolutely right. And that is actually a big part of the housing market right now. The housing market is just mind-boggling. A house next door to mine, right? Sold for $90,000. Now, this is a neighborhood. Some of you guys know where I live, some don't. I live right by Trail Creek in Michigan City. It's a HUD neighborhood, right? It was built in the 70s. These were starter homes. These were, in the 80s and 90s, they would have been $30,000 houses. $90,000 for a house that realistically should be no more than $50,000. Watching the houses go up on the market and then get sold like that for more than they're listed for blows my mind. Apparently, there's a huge investor from Wall Street that are just constantly pumping. Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. I understand that's still very cheap. A $90,000 house, especially when you're comparing, out in Hobart or Valpo or something like that. That's a cheap house, but it is a cheap house. I mean, it's a starter home. It's mind blowing. So there's a couple of things that I wanted to touch on with you guys. Yeah. Sites like, that's a good point. Places like Zillow were buying up houses left and right. There were multiple people that were investing. And I see we have some more viewers, so I just want to let you know, Mr. Ruiz. No, it's okay, Paul. I knew what you meant. Yeah, if you have another question, though, by all means. Mr. Ruiz will not be joining us tonight, but he will be on in the future. He had an emergency. So we're just gonna freeform it for a little bit tonight. And look, guys, some of you may be aware, some of you not. I'm running for state representative. I am unopposed in my primary, so I will be going to the general election. I believe there was a 6-point difference between myself and the incumbent last election. We can absolutely win District 9 with a patriot Republican, me. We can for sure know that your vote will count down there. I'm not going to badmouth my opponent. I'm not going to say anything bad about them as a person because I don't know them as a person. But what I will say is I do not feel represented. So you guys can help. I hope you will. But also, as all of you should know by now, the regular viewers anyway, my wife, Liz, is running for commissioner of LaPorte County. And if you guys don't know what a commissioner is, don't feel bad because I wasn't sure when, before I got into politics and stuff. I just thought they were this weird board that, ruled on stuff. They're like the president, but there's 3 of them. It's a 3-member commission, council, whatever, that they handle the executive style stuff, not budget. They don't touch the budget, but they do hire county employees. They're in charge of the hiring. It's odd. It's a little strange, but the more you look into it and the more you understand the difference between the commissioners and the council, because the council is who actually handles the budget. They send funding for stuff and do stuff like that. Absolutely, Paul. Make sure you get a sign. I got some. I just haven't started putting them out yet because the primary. I'm unopposed, but we are in a unique situation, and I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I have talked to so many people. I lost count. I've talked to so many people who are sick and tired and fed up of the BS that they're constantly fed by the people that are elected to represent us, the people that we send. And I have toured the Indiana State House. I've gone in and I've looked at where the offices are and all of that. I'll say there's not as much room as I thought. It's smaller. At least the desk areas are. It's little cubicles, but that's because Indiana legislators are considered a part-time position. We don't want full-time legislators, at least in my opinion. We can deep dive into that. That's a good question, Paula. The answer is I don't think so. I am not 100% sure. I will have to look at exactly where you live on the map. Message me your address and I'll look it up. But Paul has some opinions. So there are so many people that have asked me, what can I do, right? What can I do other than pay attention and other than look at what these people are saying? I'm going to tell you, Facebook groups are both useful and extremely annoying. Okay, if you live in Pulaski County, then no, you wouldn't be voting for me. I can find out who your state rep is / will be in this upcoming election, though, and let you know who's worthy of looking into. I have a beverage here, but it's from a chain, and I don't want to advertise for them because they didn't pay me, so I'm not going to lift it up. Yeah, I'll check on that for you, Paula. No worries. So what I've come up with is I've actually decided to do an in-depth look at what's required to run for office, right? Various positions. A lot of it is the same. A lot of it, like, here's something interesting that many of you may or may not know. To run for United States Senator, U.S. Representative, or even President of the United States, federally, there are no restrictions if you have been convicted of a crime. Felony, even. You can have been convicted of a felony and still run for positions that I listed, including other federal positions. Now, on the state level, though, many times they have a little more strict guidelines. Certain state positions require that you not have any felony convictions, which I'm not sure how I feel about that. On the one hand, I agree. If you can't even if you can't even not break the law as a citizen, how are we supposed to trust you as part of the government? But that said, if we're going to continue to punish people after they serve their sentence, then maybe the sentences need to be shorter, because there are instances where being convicted of any crime, but especially felonies, automatically keeps you out of certain positions. It keeps you from doing certain stuff. It keeps you, excuse me, I got to adjust here for a minute. One of those things is there are other states, and if you're convicted of a felony, you are not allowed to vote. Now, Indiana doesn't have that, but I know that Alabama, I believe that's the case, and possibly Louisiana. Indiana, though, I found out that's not the case. Even if you've had a felony, you can still vote. Do you think it's right to take someone's right to vote just because they made a mistake? And I'm not talking about charged with a crime. I'm talking about convicted in a court of their peers, serve their time, they get out. Now they can't vote. Now, there are certain crimes that I think I might go, especially those involving children, sickos. But if we're going to completely change the course of someone's life, should we revisit things like sentencing, things like the conditions? Because when you're in prison, you're not there to have fun. I mean, it's not a particularly welcoming environment. Let's see. Paula says, "What's your take on what happened with the Second Amendment? What do you mean? Can you be more specific?" I can tell you that me personally, well, they are. Here's the thing. Sean says when they're incarcerated, they shouldn't be allowed to vote. Okay, so just while they're incarcerated or after they leave? Because remember that people in jail, most of them have not been convicted of anything. They've been accused, but they have not been convicted. We already have what I consider to be both the greatest criminal justice system in the world, but still very flawed. Oh, are you talking about lawful carry, the constitutional carry bill that went to the governor's desk? Have you guys heard? Has he signed it? I have not heard anything yet. I got my fingers crossed. I'm all for it. You guys should know. Anyone who watches me with any degree of regularity is very familiar with my stance on the Second Amendment. I mean, this is on the back of my truck. Whoops, that's the wrong one. Okay, hold on. There we go. There. This is right on my back window. I'm a firm believer in people's right to defend themselves. I know he has a while. I was just curious. Okay, yeah, that was what Paula was talking about. All right. You know what? I honestly think that right now, Governor Holcomb is thinking, okay, if I do this, what's going to happen? If I do that, what's going to happen? He has to know, like, the governor's veto in Indiana is mostly a symbolic gesture, because if you guys want to learn about why the governor's power is limited, I had Austin Bonta on the show, and it was fascinating how little power the governor has as compared to some other states. All you need, okay, so bill passes, the House and the Senate gets sent to the governor's desk. Governor can revoke it, veto it, or approve it, right? Sign it into law. Governor Holcomb, if he vetoes it, it goes back to the House, right? The House votes on it again. Now, in many states, you need a 2/3 majority. That's the way it is at the federal level. 2/3 majority of the House has to vote to override. In Indiana, though, it is a simple majority, which means it had to have a simple majority to get where it is. It's a symbolic gesture. It's the governor saying, no, I don't want this bill. Now, you would think it would be as simple as going back through the same process and everyone would vote the same way they did and it'd be a done deal. However, there have been instances where bills have passed, the governor has vetoed it, it's gone back through, and representatives are cowards. I don't know how else to put it. They're scared of offending the governor. Now let's be fair here. The governor is the head of the Indiana Republican Party. He's it. It doesn't get any more than him. And if you want a political career in Indiana, you need to think very carefully before you override the governor's veto. If you're a politician, I'm not a politician. If my constituents want it, I'm going to vote for it. No matter what. That's just me personally. I found out something interesting, by the way. So I don't know the full ramifications of this yet, but I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag just a little bit. So apparently they looked at the results from the 2020 election for my race and said, "Ooh, we can take this. We can win." And they actually had someone that they called and said, "Hey, will you run for this?" And it's winnable. And the guy said, "Well, who else is running?" And they said, "Well, we know Dion from 2020 is running again." And he went, "I'm not running against him." Now, either that's, yay, I'm cool, so they like me, this person, not the state, because the state party wanted to run somebody against me. But, which, you know what? That tells me what I need to know about them. But, God, I had the mic over here. I'm glad you guys could hear me. Or they were like, oh, yeah, I'm not going against him. That guy's crazy. He will destroy me. I don't think it was that, but it does, it could be a positive thing, or it could be, something else. That, you know what, I have spoken at length about the way I feel about Governor Eric Holcomb. I will say I know some people who know him personally, and they have said as a person, he is a phenomenal person. He's nice. He does a lot with charities. He does this. He does that. Me personally, what I've seen is he is getting bad advice and acting on advice that I believe he should not be acting on. So that's a good question. Paul asked, is this state or your county party going to help you any? Okay. So since I'm unopposed in the primary, I will tell you that the county party has helped me. They have shared my stuff. They have kind of talked me up a little bit. Now I have been much more involved in the party since I ran in 2020. I am an official precinct committee person. I am running for delegate, which I want to talk to you guys about delegate. First of all, does anybody out there know what a precinct committee person is? It is actually the person that is supposed to walk with candidates in their neighborhood, right? So like my precinct is the area around my house, several blocks. And I'm supposed to know my neighbors and know, who's positive towards Republicans and who's like, get off my lawn. Somebody's running for office. They come to me and they say, hey, we want to go walk, your neighborhood. Will you come with us and introduce us to people? Yeah, absolutely. That's what a precinct committee person is. The other thing that they do that's more important is they vote for party rules, procedures, the county party chairman, secretary, the officers. They vote for that every couple of years. I think it's every 4, possibly. Then there's something called a delegate. Now, as you may or may not know, Attorney General, Secretary of State, there are a couple of other ones. I can't think of them off the top of my head right now, but there are several positions that won't even appear on your ballot in the primary. Those are called delegate positions. And what those are is, for example, the AG we had in 2020, this year is going to be Secretary of State. There's more, but Secretary of State is kind of the big one right now. Secretary of State will be voted on. There's multiple people running in the Republican primary. Only delegates get to vote for that. Delegates will go to the convention down in Indianapolis if they're elected. I'll be on. If you see me on your ballot, make sure you check yes for every single thing I'm running for. Don't just, I voted for him for that. Forget him. Usually people need to be appointed to, auditor. That's another one. Thank you, Paul. My mind kind of blanked out for a minute. Usually there are more delegate positions than people running for delegate positions, but this year it's a different story. There is a groundswell of people that are running for delegate, that are running for different things, and they have put their name on the ballot. And so this time we actually, I might not get to be a delegate, which I'm just going to say would really, really suck, because 2020's delegate convention was virtual. It was crap. It was garbage. All we did was watch some people talk on a screen. We watched YouTube videos. That's what we did. We watched YouTube videos, and then we had a mail-in ballot that we filled out. That's how Rokita ended up as the Attorney General. He was running against Curtis Hill and a few other people. I had a couple of them on the show. It was interesting. Put it this way, nobody was surprised when Rokita won, but not everyone voted for Rokita, and there were some questions. But that aside, usually it's done live. You vote, you put it in, they read the results, and it's the ranked voting system that people have talked about before. They use that. Ooh, excuse me. They use that. So, like, if your person you voted, rank 1, 2, 3, 4, as you go down the list, like, let's say, candidate A only got 6 votes. The next one got 100, 200, 300, right? 6 votes drops off until a candidate has 51% of the votes, right? Then that person wins and moves on to the next phase. So we are just voting. RCVI or whatever it is, the ranked voting. I forget the full name of it, but you probably know, Paul. Which is kind of funny. I'm gonna tell you, it's kind of interesting that the party, I think the Democrats do the same thing. It's kind of interesting that the parties use that for their internal stuff, but don't want you to have it. Give that a little thought. Yeah. That's what I was just saying. Yeah, I actually got that out before you popped out, though. So, but yeah, they use RCV within the party, but you and I can't use it at the ballot box because who knows? Now, that said, we'll see what happens. But Liz and I both are running for delegate because we want to be wined and dined. My understanding, anyway, I haven't actually gone to this before, but my understanding is the candidates have these rooms, right? The hospitality suites. And you go into these rooms and you get free food and they wine and dine you and basically try to buy your vote with shrimp. I don't know, but we just want to enjoy the evening, go down there, have some fun, because like I said, this last time was just garbage. It just was like, what? Internet based? No. That said, though, we'll see. Fingers crossed. I'm really hoping that it's something right. They want to buy my vote. It better be lobster, not just shrimp, right? Shrimp and toast. A little wedge, some weird toast with a little bit of lobster bisque on it. No, they had like when I went down to Congress of Counties, which is basically this boot camp for candidates. This was in 2019, I think, and maybe the beginning of 2020. But Congress of Counties was designed for state races. Really, it teaches you about finance, campaign finance, and committees, and this and that. And at the time, I was running for U.S. Congress, so a lot of the stuff didn't apply. But what they did have, the attorney general candidates had their hospitality suites out at that time, and so did a couple other ones. It wasn't bad. I mean, it was nice. They had some nice stuff, free drinks, etc. But I mean, you guys got to step your game up. I'm not some easily bought lawmaker. I'm an average citizen. I need more than a 6-pack. Come on, guys. I'm just kidding. So May 3rd is the day to remember. May 3rd, 2022 is the primary election. And unfortunately in Indiana, you have to pull a Republican ballot in order to vote for the Republican primary candidates. It is a packed race for first district. I tell you, I'm going to be watching this very, very closely, because we have some very interesting names in the first district. I'm not going to tell you guys my favorite until after I do all the interviews, because I may change my mind, honestly. So far, I'm the favorite, just because of name recognition, is Mark Leyva. I don't have anything against Leyva as a person. He's ran 9 times and he hasn't won. I think it's time to move on. I think it's time to do something else. I think it's time to give up. I will be very disappointed if Leyva wins the primary only to lose the general again. I do think we have the best opportunity we have ever had to get a Republican into that seat. Possibly even better than 2020 if we get the right candidate. Because even with the Trump wave and the red wave, the red tsunami, whatever you want to call it, in 2020, it wasn't enough to get Leyva past Mervan. Now, Mervan has voted for pretty much almost every un-American thing you can think of since he's gotten into office. He's voted for Build Back Broker. He's voted for all kinds of stuff. Now, this is a guy that actually had the steel mills endorse him. Wow. Paul, funny you should say that. So listen to this. This is actually really interesting. So McDermott, right? McDermott is not running for U.S. Congress. He is running for U.S. Senate this time. He is going to be against Todd Young in the general election because he successfully got everyone else running against him in the primary thrown off the ballot. He actually challenged. There were two women that were running against him. I think they're both black. I'm not sure. At least one I know because I saw the video while he was doing it. I think both though, and he challenged both of their applications and claimed that the signatures didn't pass muster or whatever. So he successfully got two women thrown off the ballot against him, and he will be up again. Look, the sad reality, the other thing is Todd Young got the Republican running against him thrown off the ballot as well. So either way, it's going to be Young versus McDermott in the general. Unless we get an independent running or a libertarian running for United States Senate for that district, those are the only two choices, McDermott or Todd Young. I cannot vote for Tom McDermott. I can't. There is no way I can bring myself. On the other hand, there are many people who feel as if Todd Young has said and done some things that they disagree with. Let's just leave it at that. I mean, the man's a sitting United States senator. I'm not gonna exactly badmouth him, but I am gonna say that there were definitely some decisions that he made that I disagreed with. He did not fight when I think he should have, and he rolled over. There was also an encounter with some Republican supporters, I believe Trump supporters, but there was an encounter when he basically told them that he didn't care what they said or did. It was pretty embarrassing for him, in my opinion. But we'll see what happens. I mean, Paula makes a good point. I mean, the alternative is McDermott. Now, if you guys know of anybody who is wanting to run for United States Senate as an independent or libertarian, this is so wild that this may be the libertarians' year, because when your only choice is Todd or Tom, it's not a whole lot of choice. Yeah, I mean, Doug should. Absolutely. Someone needs to. Let's put it that way. If we don't have anyone right now, then we need to. The people deserve to have a real choice out there. That's yeah. there's not much of a choice. There was a gentleman who put his name on the ballot for United States Senator for the Republican primary, and something about he sent the stuff in, but it was so close time-wise. There were a couple of signatures that couldn't be verified. So, okay, James who? Tell us all. Paul says James has been out since 21 talking to people. Tell the viewers who we're talking about, Paul, which, by the way, I'm trying to get on the show. Anybody, if you know of someone running for office in really, I guess, Lake, Porter, LaPorte counties. There you go. Okay, James Siniak for U.S. Senate. He is running Libertarian for United States Senate. He will be on the ballot opposite, McDermott or. Yeah, it is very late in the game. Young on this side, McDermott on this side, and you got Siniak in the middle. It is very late in the game. I think Doug would be great at it. But it is very late in the game. So Mike Braun's going to be up for re-election here in a couple of years. So something to think about. As a matter of fact, Braun will be up with the presidential election in 2024. So I don't know how you guys feel about Mike Braun, but this was the guy that went on Tucker Carlson and talked about how BLM was a good thing. Oh yeah, and that's another thing. Let's not right. I completely understand. If he had the cash to do it, he would. Let's not pretend. Running for United States Senate is one of the most expensive races out there. It is more than Congress, more in some ways more than president. It is a ridiculously expensive race, And like it takes millions of dollars. As a matter of fact, let's look it up. Let's see exactly how much it costs. Here. Let's see what the great and almighty robot overlord Google has to say. How much does it cost to run for Senate? For a U.S. Senate seat. Here we go. Had to spend millions. Here we go. An average winning Senate candidate had spent $10.4 million. $10.4 million. Here it is. Okay. So let me share this to you. Boop. If you guys can see it right here. U.S. Senate now costs $10.5 million to win on average. On average. So many spend more, some spend less, but you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It should not be like that, but it is. Yeah, Sean, I'm with you. I thought it was a couple of billion, but no. Yeah, well, him and Holcomb want to switch seats. Well, I have bad news for Mike Braun. I don't mind. Again, I don't mind him as a person, but I don't think he would make a good governor. I really don't. And he shot himself in the foot on Tucker Carlson to really get anywhere. In my opinion, I am no political genius, obviously, but I don't know, man. Paul says I call him Bronnelly because he's just like the previous Joe Donnelly. Yeah, Donnelly. Sorry. Wait, hold on. Wait. Sean says he also said that GOP needs to compromise on gun control. Is this Mike Braun that said the GOP needs to compromise on gun control? Because send me that link. I would love to read more into that or about that. Sorry, I don't need to read anything into it. Those simple statements alone. Wrong one. There we go. Put that right up there. And in case anybody forgot, bottom line, shall not be infringed. It's very straightforward. Very, very straightforward. Let's see here. From what is being said, upcoming partner at county council. Okay, hold on. What is this? Did a fundraiser. She's from Illinois. Only lived here 2 weeks and got $600,000. Holy crap! This is for Porter County Council. See, I'm going to say this. Look, I didn't really want to go off, but I'm going to go off a little bit. The reason why we have a shit government. The reason why we have crooks in charge is because regular people, we can't generate $600,000. I'm running for state representative. I ran for U.S. Congress. I'm not going to say how much I got from people, but it was very, very, very little. For those of you that donated, thank you so much. It helps more than you could ever know. But I didn't raise no $600,000. I didn't raise $6,000. This is what's wrong with our politics. Because, again, coming from Illinois, only lived here 2 weeks, $600,000. Where do you think that money's coming from? It's not from her neighbors. She just moved here. I will tell you this. We're going to need money to win. We are absolutely going to need money to win. Liz is going to need money. I'm going to need money. I did my entire campaign last election with my money. I spent thousands of dollars of my own money. I can't do that again. I don't have it this time. So I'm going to need your help, not just you, but everybody out there. If you guys want things like constitutional carry to stick around, if you want more freedom, if you want the government to stay out of your business, if you want somebody who believes we should have lower taxes, not this surplus that you get $100 tax credit, what? We need to get off our butts and donate your time, your money or both? Now, you guys that are watching right now, most of you have already donated. Most of you have already donated either your time or your money. I'm just saying, out there are so many people that read the paper or click through an online article and they're like, this is crap. Oh, how'd this person raise so much money? Oh, there's George Soros and blah, blah, blah. But they will not send a dime to a real candidate. They'll look at them and they'll be like, oh, yeah, this person seems all right. They'll meet them, shake their hand. Oh, yeah, they'll vote for them in the voting booth. But they will not send them a check. They will not go online and donate. And look, it would be really, really nice if we didn't need that, if we didn't need to donate to people, if we didn't need to get our government cleaned up, but we do. Let's see. Okay, so Sean found it. This is the, okay. All right. Yeah, do me a favor, Sean. Send that to me in Messenger. We can peruse it together, actually. Let's see here. I got to open this. Have you guys noticed? I have heard that computers all over are getting like super slow. Like even with really good internet, like it's been like weird. Like I'm hardwired to the best internet that's out there, right? The best I can get in my area. And just it's been acting weird lately. Yeah, if you can pop that to me on Messenger, we'll pop it open real quick and take a look at it. I might have to put my glasses on. So I don't know if you guys know this, but I had to have cataract surgery. They caught it early. It was no big deal, but that's one of the reasons why I was off for so long. And now my computer monitor is just at the level where it's close enough that I have to wear my glasses in order to read stuff, right? And my glasses, as you can see, the light reflects off of them really bad. Okay, he says he sent the link. Let's go take a look here. All right, here it is. Boom. Let me copy and paste. Copy. Let's put this on the other browser. Here we go. All right, let's go back to StreamYard. Here, you guys can see, watch. Like I said, I have the gigabit internet, the fastest internet you can get around here. And look at that. Okay. Indiana lawmaker warns Second Amendment supporters of what would come if we don't address gun control now. No thanks, I don't want your notifications. Indiana's junior U.S. senator thinks red flag laws and common sense. You love that word, right? Common sense gun. Common sense gun legislation or common sense gun laws. Common sense according to whom? It's a catchphrase. It's a gotcha. In a conversation with Wise 11, political editor Chris Williams, Senator Mike Braun, a Republican, explained why supporters of the Second Amendment should support changes now. Senator Braun is warning there needs to be action now or deal with what comes when people like him are not directing the conversation in D.C. People like him. So people that want gun control. The Jasper, Indiana native was in the Louisville area because he has been traveling Indiana to talk to constituents. Recent shootings and calls for new gun laws, large part of the conversation. He's calling for so-called red flag laws similar to those in Indiana that allow for officials to take guns from individuals deemed a risk to themselves or others. Senator Braun also wants to see focused background screenings, although he opposes so-called universal background checks. Quote, I want to start the process so that we can keep that right to own arms for law-abiding citizens by doing anything in the kitchen sink when it comes to common sense stuff that's not going to impact law-abiding citizens from his or her right, but still start doing something. Otherwise, it will go the other way, and when we don't control the dynamic in D.C., we'll have laws that we might regret, Braun said. He describes himself as a, quote, devout Second Amendment supporter who thinks others like him are hoping to steer this discussion for that reason. Okay. Yeah, You're absolutely right, Paula. Paula has a comment here, and I want to shout out to him because he is good people. Guy Relford has worked his butt off for the Second Amendment. For those of you who don't know who he is, Guy Relford is a Second Amendment focused constitutional attorney in Indianapolis. And he has a foundation called the 2A Project. I'm a member, and I highly recommend you guys check it out. Red flag laws are, look, here's the bottom line on this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going to break it down for you. If you think for a moment, for a single freaking second, that these people are going to be happy once they've taken a little of your freedom, look at where we're at right now. Oh, if we just get rid of fully automatic weapons, then it'll be okay. If we just get rid of bump stocks, then we'll be happy. There is no end to these people. They are going to take little bit by little bit by little bit by little bit until there's nothing left. Till there is absolutely not a darn thing left. A well-regulated militia. Let's line by line this, because I want to tell you, a lot of people think, oh, militia, that applies to the National Guard. No. As a matter of fact, the U.S. Department of Justice has agreed that the word militia in the language of the time referred to any males and females over the age of 18. Any citizen, basically. Any citizen of the United States. Well-regulated refers to in good working order. Your guns should be in good working order. You should be healthy. They don't expect a gentleman who can't walk, who can, good working order. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. Now, what does that mean? What does being necessary to the security of a free state mean? It means that we're not going to have a free state if we do not maintain the right of the people to keep and bear arms. And if you notice, even the First Amendment does not have shall not be infringed on it. There is nothing else so sacred as our ability to tell the government in no uncertain terms that we are not going to be Australia. We're not going to be UK. We're not going to be Canada. Look, regardless of how you feel about the coronavirus epidemic, regardless of how you feel about it, we can all look at what's going on in various countries and know that's what could happen here if it wasn't for your and my ability to tell the government in no uncertain terms, we will not have it. I absolutely agree, Sean. We have enough. Let's see. Yeah, and this is absolutely true. Paula says, baby's mama mad at you. She can call in a bogus call, and now there goes your firearm. I actually had a gentleman that faced a very similar situation to that. He was going to come on the show, but then his attorney actually advised him not to, which I get. Hopefully, once everything's done and all the court cases processed and fixed, that he'll still come on. But look at California and New York. Do you think they'll stop? They won't stop. That will be federal if they get the way, right? Militia is the people. Militia are the citizens of this country. And you're absolutely right, Paul. That's why we still exist free from a king and why we will continue to do so. And with that, I'm gonna wrap it up. It's been almost an hour. Once I get going, right, it's hard to shut me up. Thanks everybody for coming out, though, tuning in and listening to me discuss the current events. I missed you guys. I really did. But I got my I can't. Hold on. I don't know what this means. Oh, you know what? It's spammers, I think. Yeah. I'll delete that later. Whatever. But we're gonna reschedule Mr. Ben Ruiz, and we'll have some more people on in the very near future. We got a few lined up, and I thank everybody for taking the time. Stay tuned. I'll see you all again very, very soon. God bless you. God bless Indiana, and God bless the United States of America and the Second Amendment.
If you'd like to support the show, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/Dion's Daily Dose. This has been Dion's Daily Dose, hosted by Dion Bergeron. Executive producers Sean Holgram and Michael Beebe. Copyright 2022. Dion's Daily Dose. All rights reserved.